All right, on the bench today, out of a 2013 Cadillac ATS, have the 6L45, rear wheel drive 6-speed. So the deal with this is this transmission was brought to me over the counter due to a leak. All right, I got a call from one of my wholesale accounts. Apparently the car came in to their shop leaking out of the front. So they pulled the transmission out, they got a front seal, put the seal in, installed it, the new seal, transmission back in the car, and it still leaked out of the front. So they took it back down again, they took the seal out again, made sure the bushing was good, put another seal in, and again, leak is still there. So they pulled it back out and they called me. And I said, bring it down. I'll take a look at it. At that point, as you can see, they tried to take the bell housing off. You know, they got all the bolts loose, but this is about as far as they got, because of course you got to pull the valve body filter out in order to get the bell housing off. So, you know, I'm looking at, I said, you know, bring the transmission down and bring the converter as well. Because this is actually the second time that I've seen this, but the first Cadillac I did had a 6L50, but pretty much 6L45, 6L50 is pretty much the same thing. All right, and what happens if you have a leak out of the front? I mean, it could be the front seal, sure, but it's not common for these 6L45s, 50s, 80s, 90s really to leak out of the front. So what's going on with this? I was telling him, I said, I've seen this before, and what happens is the converter neck cracks. So they brought me the transmission, I said, you gotta bring me the converter because there's no way I'm doing this without getting you another converter or having yours rebuilt or at least having it sent out tested. So they brought the transmission, you know, just like this. Seal install looked okay. I looked in there. The bushing looked okay. I have a front seal, a pump O-ring, a filter, and a pan gasket. Because, you know, with the bell housing like this, now we got to take this thing apart. Just make sure everything is still in place. Converter already was picked up because I needed to know what's going on with that. And I got a call from the converter rebuilder actually last night before I went home, and he said the neck is cracked because I had said to him, you know, we need to pressure check this first before it gets rebuilt because, you know, we had a leak out of the front and they've changed the front seal a few times, it's still leaking. So sure enough, the converter neck is cracked. This is actually the second time that I've seen this, and he's gonna rebuild it and get it all fixed up and send it back, you know, probably in a day or so. So the other scenario with the Cadillac that I had was the same thing. Came in leaking out of the front. Not the same wholesale account, a different one. Took it down, put a front seal in it, back up, still leaking, took it back down. Probably put another seal in it thinking maybe they damaged it as they were putting maybe the converter back in, and it still leaked, and then they pulled it out and called me, brought the transmission down. And pretty much the same scenario. That was a 6L50. And that converter neck was cracked as well. Seems to be pretty common, and only really seen this with Cadillacs. Not sure why, but it seems to be pretty common on that. And actually speaking to the converter rebuilder last night, who's, you know, he's around here, he's very, very good. A lot of people use this guy. He said it's pretty common for those necks to crack. Now, I mean, the 6L45 is, you got in BMWs, and really never seen that, but only on Cadillacs for some reason. So if you have a Cadillac leaking out of the front, or someone tells you that it's leaking out of front, you know, putting another front seal in, absolutely, the transmission is going to get pulled out, but just make sure that converter gets addressed, gets sent out or changed or you know, checked or whatever the case may be. Because apparently it's fairly common. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the pan down, take the valve body out. I'm probably going to stand this up. I took the rubber disc off here so I can see if I can stand this up on the bench, and just want to make sure the drums and everything are in place. Gonna put a new O-ring on the Bellhousing, gonna do a new front seal anyway, because I'd rather change it since I have it here. I want to put the front seal in. And then we got a new filter and pan gasket to go back. And the converter, again, probably in a day or so I'll have that back. I spoke to the wholesale account. I told them what the problem was. I said the converter is cracked 100%. And that is the cause of the leak. So let me get a little closer and we'll just kind of chunk this thing down to a certain extent and just go back together with some new seals. So let me get a little closer and we'll get started. All right, so let's get the O-ring off for the torque converter clutch lockup. Okay, so we'll put this aside. I'm going to see if they actually sell this separately. It's a little hard, but I will see. I know I don't have one, but sometimes my supplier may sell things like that separately. All right, so let me get a. All right, so let's do this. All right, here is the where a dipstick would normally go, but they got a plug in there, so I'm going to actually take that out to drain this. Okay, so I'm going to put a new one of these in as well. These come in all the kits. These come in all the kits, so this is going to be changed. All right. All right, let's get the pan down. Clean. So this actually is where you check it from. You could fill it through that where that dipstick would normally go, like on a 6L80, or you could fill it through here, but see the standpipe here, so that would be the check plug there. All right, pan is clean, no problems there. All right, filter. Okay. I'm going to lift the tab up. I'm going to take this out, hopefully with no trouble, because this is going to have to go back in. Okay, there we go. All right, now we got 6 bolts, just like on the 6L series transmissions, holding that valve body down. It is the external Torx Plus number 10. I believe it's number 10. Yeah, pretty sure it is. Okay, so let's get these bolts out. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to lift this right out. dowel. Let me just give it a little help. I'm just removing these seals here. Okay. Now I want to put this back on its pan. So let me just put this on, put a couple of bolts in. Go ahead and take these pump bolts out. I want to just make sure nothing out of place here. Okay. And so here is the pump O-ring we're going to be changing. All right, so now what I want to do, I just want to make sure, if I had this thing out, I want to make sure nothing fell out of place. Here. So, what I'm going to do, yeah, see, that was out. But let's just make sure everything is okay. Okay. All right, so all these hubs seem to be in place. All right, so let's just get this pan back down. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pan back down. I'm going to stand it up here. The first thing I want to do actually is I'm going to put another front seal in this. So let me switch angles. I'll get more on top of the bell housing so we can go ahead and do that. And then I'll get the pan back down. Stand the transmission up here on the bench, and we'll just kind of put everything back together. All right, so I have for this, I have a new pan gasket, I have a new filter, here is the front seal. Front seal actually is the same for all the 6 series, 6L45, 50, 80, and 90. The O-ring I do not believe is the same. And here is the new pump O-ring. Okay, so let me just switch angles here. Let me get a little closer up here. We'll swap out this front seal. We're going to make sure the bushing is good in there, which should be okay because I did check the converter hub, for smoothness, and that seemed okay. And then we'll go ahead and get this back together. So give me 1 second. Okay, let's pop the snap ring out. Get the seal out. Okay, came right out. All right, the bushing looks okay. Let's just take a fast look at it. Okay, it looks good. Make sure the pump gear is turning. All right, that looks good. Okay. So I'm just putting a little grease just to make sure the spring stays in. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and set this in place. Pretty much just push it straight down. Like that. And we're going to put the snap ring back in. Okay, nice, easy to change the front seal. Okay, so that's that. Okay. Okay. All right, front seal is in. All right, here is our new O-ring. Okay. Okay, so let's put this aside. And now let me just get set up for this. And we're gonna take the pan down, stand it up, and what we'll do is just go ahead and put this trans back together. All right, so I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, let's go ahead and put the two drums together and really just gonna get it into the spline. Then we gotta get everything into the clutch hubs. Okay. All right, so everything is in. Now I got to stand on a crate here. I'm going to set this in place. Okay. There is actually a tool that is made to go around the big 3/5 reverse drum, and you can, so this way you can maneuver it back and forth. But what I do, all right, this is not down yet. So you got a little gap right here. All right, so there's not supposed to be any gap there. So what I do is just take a screwdriver here. Make sure you guys can see. And I just kind of turn the drum. And that just dropped right into place. Everything's kind of even now, you know. And then to make sure that it's down, you lift it up slightly, and everything's hitting solid. So that drum is in. All right. So you can tell the drum is in when there's basically no space right here. All right, if you got a little bit of space, a little bit of a window, you know, then the drum is not down. And also you can check it just moving it up and down a little bit. Everything moves together. You know, if you pick up on the 3.5 reverse, I'm sorry, on the 4.56, and it has a little play all by itself, 3.5 reverse drum may not be in all the way. Okay, so now we're going to put the pump on, and that should just drop down flush. So we got a dowel pin here. Okay, so let's go ahead and move this over. I'm going to try to do this so everybody can see. Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, now I got no space here. You know, this thing is flat. If there was something out of place, you would have a gap there, but I got no gap. The thing went straight down flat. Okay. And we can also air check this before we put the valve body on. And I'm just putting the pump bolts in here. Tighten these down. Looks good. Everything is turning. And just kind of tighten these down like a star pattern. Okay. All right, sorry, I got my torque wrench ready. So we're going to tighten these to 20 foot-pounds. You know, again, in like a star pattern. I'm sorry if you can't see. I need to have my arm in the way. I'm just trying to get some support here. Okay. I'm also just going to put this torque converter clutch O-ring back because I do not want to forget to do that just in case I cannot get one. Okay. So again, I'm going to lay this now down on the bench. We're going to put the valve body back in. We're going to air check it first. Put the valve body back in. I'm going to clean the pan up. I'm waiting for my tank to heat up, and then we'll put the pan on, and this thing will be ready to go. All right, so let me just get set up for that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to air check the 1, 2, 3, 4 clutch and the 3, 5 reverse clutch. It's going to be these two holes here, and the 4, 5, 6 clutch is going to be down right here. So we had the drums out. We installed the drums again. There are seals on the 4, 5, 6 clutch drum. There are seals on the stator. So we just want to make sure everything feels good before we button this up. So we should have solid air checks here. Feels good. And the 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so I'm happy with that. go ahead and put these seals back in. Okay, that is very good. All right, so I did take the detent roller off the valve body just to make it a little easier to install. And of course we have to catch. All right, so here is your MLP and here is the manual valve. So we got to catch, of course, the linkage in that manual valve. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and we got to get the valve body goes into dowels. All right, here's your seals for the valve body, your input and output speed sensors, the Tecum. Okay. All right, so we just got it into the dowels. Got some fire trucks going by. Okay, so this is good. So we'll go ahead and put our bolts in. All right, and then gently. Okay. Those I'm going to do to about 100 inch-pounds. This thing set at 100? It is. Okay, and we can go ahead and put our sleeve back in. Okay, tear it down. Detent roller. Okay, so we just got the filter and the pan left, so let me just clean the pan up. And I gotta find one of those seals for the other side where the dipstick would go anyway. And then we're gonna put the filter pan with the new gasket, new filter, the other piece for the seal where the dipstick would go. And that's it. So give me like 10-15 minutes. I want to just clean the pan up in my machine. All right, so let's finish this up. Have our new filter here. Go. And gasket. And we're got a couple of dowels, if you will, here to go into the case and into the pan. All right, so this, of course, is going to face the rear. Okay, that's good. That's good. Working good. Okay. All right. Oop. There's about a 120 inch-pounds here. I'm sorry, make that 110. Okay. Okay. All right, then we have our new plug. We'll put a little grease on that there. And lock it. Okay. All right, here, everything is turning good. And that, my friends, is it. All right, linkage here. Working good. Park. Okay. So we got this all back together. Waiting on the converter. Just to recap, 2013 Cadillac ATS. I ran the year, make, and model, comes up as a 6L45. And the complaint was a leak out of the front. After the shop that it came from, probably put in 1 or 2 front seals that continued to leak. So that's when they called me. Once they told me that, I did have a feeling that the converter neck was cracked because I've seen this before. And I did send the converter out to one of the local rebuilders because it's, you know, I wanted to confirm the problem. Transtar actually did not have the converter in stock. So I did want to send it out anyway to confirm the neck was cracked, and sure enough, he said it was. So he's rebuilding it, fixing all that up. I'll have the converter back in a couple of days. And then we'll get this back to the customer. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you next one.